evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime. Today in the program, we're going to be looking at the brouhaha ongoing in the Southwest region, precisely Fako division, with the information circulating on the existence of fake villages and chiefs. Villages that supposedly have been cancelled, and the chiefs expected to be deposed by the new senior divisional officer for Fako, sure, with instructions from hierarchy. We're talking about the governor and the Minister of Territorial Administration. What is actually happening? Who is behind this confusion? We are also going to be looking at so many things surrounding this with the panelists in the program this evening. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, our permanent consultant, is in the house. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Cameroonians, and welcome to this wonderful edition of Prime Hour. We're happy to be here today to talk about the land brouhaha and the village disorder in the Southwest region, particularly Fako division, and it's been the talk of the front line of the newspapers across the nation.
We also are in the company of Dr. Micheal Ndimancho, lecturer in some of our universities across Cameroon. Good evening, Doctor, and welcome.
Thanks so much, Mr. Leo. Particularly grateful to be here, of course, to talk about issues that concerns the chiefs. I've been also a custodian of the tradition of my village as a Shei. Of course, for those who know traditions already know exactly what I'm talking about, and that when you are addressing chiefs, sometimes you need to have some respect. It is, I mean, especially legitimate chiefs. So it's an important issue, that a delicate one too, sometimes, that we need to address and keep Cameroon and customs and tradition flowing. Thank you so much. Okay.
We are also having Tamai Jarvis, who is sitting in for Barister Ewule Edward, who is supposed to be here with us this evening. That appears he's still caught in traffic. We hope he joins us in the course of the program. Good evening, Jarvis, and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening to those who are watching us from different parts of the world. So exciting that we are talking about the first institution before the colonial era, that is talking about the chiefs, who were the chief custodians of recognized by the people and who governed their people from the rules and regulations handed to them in time past by their ancestors. So we pray that we'll do justice to the topic, and special good evening to all the chiefs, legitimate chiefs in the southwest and northwest region of the nation.
Okay, we also in the company of Senior Barister Achu Emmanuel. He is the national president of the Reform Party. He says he wants to be the next president of Cameroon. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening to all Cameroonians. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening to all the panelists. Apostle Ambe, Dr. Ndimancho, Tamai Jarvis, the Kenyan. Good evening, special good evening to all Reform Party members and sympathizers. I have to thank My Media Prime for putting its spotlight on this very, very delicate part of our history, because we're talking here of some historical part which many people don't understand. So I hope, like Mr. Jarvis said, we are going to do justice to that institution.
Okay. Many persons called me this day to say that they hope that Fako indigenes are going to be on this platform to discuss on the issue. I have made several calls today, since yesterday, and since last week, indicating that I would want them to be on this platform to discuss on this, but I've not had them. We hope that Barister Ewule Edward joins us to give insights of what is happening out there in Fako division. But Senior Barrister, I'm not starting with you, Apostle Ambe. He just raised an issue. Say historically, there is something that is happening. What do you mean by history in what is happening in Fako today?
Thank you, Mr. Leo. This is historic because the land we're talking of is land that belonged, first of all, to the Commonwealth Development Corporation that was created in 1947, which was later on handed over to Southern Cameroons, and by some twist of history, we don't understand the legal gimmicks that led to to that land becoming the property of the state of Cameroon. That is the land that is concerned today, because fake chiefs are coming up to grab land which is not theirs. Like one eminent lady from Southwest said, these are people who are coming with their long throats, greed, unlimited greed to come and grab land which is not theirs. So we are going to have real analysis today, because the people you are citing as the people who are supposed to unravel the problem seem to be deeply involved, because I have good information to the fact that chiefs are installed by the administration. But when you look at the land mafia that is going on, the administrators have partook in the sharing of the land. So when you call the people who have themselves dipped their hands inside to come solve the problem, I don't know what our solution are looking for. So that's why I said it's historic, because the problem got its roots from land that came from 1947, from our history.
Yes, but this land is supposed to have been handed back to, it is Bakure, the land of the Bakurians, right? Yeah. That was supposed to be handed back to the Bakurians, and I'm sure those who are requesting for lands to be ceded to them are sons and daughters of the Bakuri land. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, my question to you is, can we understand how villages are created in 2020?
Well,
yeah, because we all know the way our history is.
Let me begin by saying that we have the most recent villages in a particular division. We don't hear village being created in Indian. Suddenly, we don't hear village being created in Meme or Kupe Maningupa. We don't hear. Since I grew, I knew the issue. Way, womb, Kofontung. I don't know me, so I knew what I I grew up, I saw in Bafud we have Mankanikong, we have Jinte, we have Sani, Agiati. I have not seen any new village being created again, but in Fako from 2018, we have about 60 recently created villages. It looks like villages are being born after every second. And it's been very, very bad, because I believe that villages cannot suddenly just pop up. These villages automatically get their recognition from state authorities. And a village is not born without a leader. And the fact that you are a chief in a particular community means you are under the Minister of Territorial Administration. For me, I know first-class chiefs are given authorization by the Minister of Territorial Administration, second-class chief by Minister of Territorial, third-degree chiefs can receive the authorization from SDOs. Now, but you see almost every week villages are being created. I'm asking if these civil administrators who are responsible in giving the authority, the baton of leadership in the hands of these leaders, if they are not aware. How do you explain that individuals are being called by a recent SDO to come and identify their chieftaincy or their rights to be chiefs in a particular community?
They're called to come and present their ID and that of their parents, because from your ID, they know the origin of your parents,
yes, and
where you're coming from. Yes, because you may not tie with where
but to the best of my understanding, there was a senior divisional officer in that particular division before these people became chiefs. Why didn't he check their ID cards and that of their parents before giving them?
Is a new SDO who is doing all of this?
That's what I'm saying. That
there was an SDO.
Yes, there was an SDO. I'm saying that. Are we saying that the former SDO has another administrative setup as compared to the one who just came in? That is a problem, because as much as we are going to blame the chiefs for suddenly creating villages, the authorities in question that make these people know that they are chiefs, which they are not chiefs, is another problem also. A man is a chief in a particular area. His brother is a chief some 100 meters away. And then there's a man who is a chief whose father is still alive. I believe that kingship is hereditary. Someone has to die, or Dr. Ndimancho. You will tell us that a man is still alive, living around Kuna. The child is a chief in Isoka. Something is wrong. I think you have to ask Dr. Ndimancho. He's a she, he will tell us better.
But, Doctor, it's not a loving issue. It is nice for us to understand, because can we understand how villages are created today? Do we create villages? When you look at our history, almost every village has a history. Are we going, did these villages go extinct? Or how do we come up with villages today? People went for wars of conquest. That's how most villages came now. They left an area and moved. The dwellers, we are told they came from Zaire. No, the dwellers came from Zaire with the brothers, and then the brothers, they settled here, and the other brothers went down to, some are in Boya, others are in Limbe, others have gone down to Ndian division. Yes, and then I'm sure where are you guys coming from, Dr. Ndimancho?
Okay,
you have a history now.
Yes, of course. Yes, we came from part of Nigeria anyway. I mean, yeah. You know, we are even out of the Tika. Yes. But then let us get to this topic.
I want also to understand.
Yes.
Almost every village has a history. Yes.
Yes, of course. Every village has its roots. We came from somewhere. Of course.
Are we now witnessing migrations today from?
Well, we are going to understand in this topic why villages are now being sprouting out like mushrooms. Now, Mr. Leo, you know that a chief is a leader of a tribe. A chief is a leader of a community. A chief is a leader of a village that is endowed with customary and traditional authority. This is the first thing that we have to understand. Now, authority and legitimacy of chiefs are based on what? They are based on customs and traditions. And when we talk about customs and tradition, now you already know, I mean, we are getting far back into pre-colonial era. Yes, because any village that is founded during the colonial or post-colonial era is no village at all in Cameroon. I'm talking about the pre-colonial era. And that is why we talk about customs and traditions. But then, in my discourse, I will lay the blame on three persons.
Okay.
The government, well, at large. Let me just say, classify them under two. The government and the circumstances of the people of that region. Now, I'm talking about the government. Why? Look at the decree, the 1977 decree that governed chieftaincy in Cameroon. You will begin to know where the problem is coming from. 1977 decree that governed chieftaincy. And I want to take some articles to task. And those articles are the crux of the matter in all of this. When you look at section 2, that section 2 talks about classified chiefs under first, second, and third class chiefs. That is already the first problem. In my village, a phone is a phone. Whether he's ruling 2 people or 3 people, it's a phone. The issue of saying first class, second class, or third class is an issue of the government. And that doesn't touch on us in any way. So when our people migrated and they settled in this place, I mean, like Professor Ambe said, chieftaincy has been hereditary. I mean, it continues from there, and nobody can argue that. Now, look at section 15 of that decree. It provides for appointments of chiefs, which is already problematic. Now, we go further. Section 10 mandates the PM, the Minister of Territorial Administration, and the SDO to appoint a chief in case where there is no entente. So they can appoint.